Hey guys, Mel here, and I wanted to share with you a project that I'm working on for fun right now. I just started this over the weekend, and I haven't been in Construct 2 in a while. If you're wondering what Construct 2 is, it's basically a 2D game development engine where you can develop your own games. And I've gone through a few tutorials over the weekend, and I'm going to share those with you guys. So what I did was I wanted to create sort of like a tycoon type game. If you've ever played like Zoo Tycoon or Roller Coaster Tycoon, or there's like a million other tycoon themed games out there. Basically, I wanted to create that, and that's something that you guys can use for training. You can create a training tycoon type game, maybe about going through some finances or inventory or different things like that that are themed to your work. So where I got the tutorials from is on YouTube. The makers of Construct 2 have some awesome Academy videos, and this one's a pretty simple one. It's making an economy-based game, which is basically like a sim or tycoon type game. This guy goes through the basics on doing it. As you can see, the graphics, it's basically just to show you how to do it. But what I did was I went through his tutorial and I just started working on mine. So I've got my graphics all laid out and I just have to make it a little bit more functional. But it's really neat. So I can show you right now how it works. The way that I have it set up is as you add properties, your income will increase. And as you can see, I added 3 properties and I have it set on a timer by the amount of properties to increase my income from that. And so you can see it glitched out there. I have to go back and see what happened. But basically, as you increase your income, you know, you'll be able to buy more properties. Right now, I just have it set to test it out and see what it will do with the timer. But I'm going to add different variables in here specifying, you know, if something happened and you need to spend money on something and other things like that. And I got most of my assets here from Kenny's Assets on his website here. He's a game developer in the Netherlands and he has all sorts of cool free assets that you can use in your game development to get started on games. So I definitely recommend checking that out. So let's take a look at Construct 2 and we can see if, I think I know why my game glitched out. So in Construct 2, this is the free edition. So with the free edition, there's a little bit less things that you can have in here. So like layer wise, you can only have a certain amount of layers. You can't change the progress or the loading meter to anything differently. So up here I have my text box for my amount. So I think maybe that it might not be big enough to display my amount of money. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and rerun my layout. It is super easy to test. You can select any kind of a browser from a drop down over here and you'll be able to run your layout. So I have mine set to Google Chrome. So if I go back and test mine out, I'm going to refresh. Hopefully once it hits like 100, I'll still be able to see everything, or else it might just glitch out again. So as you can see, now it's working again because I have my text box moved out further. Pretty cool. So this is pretty simple. The way the construct is laid out is you have a layout. So your layout's kind of like your main stage and you can have different layers on it. Right now I just have one. And then I have these buttons that I created and I have this box that I created and I found a font and then I created like a little logo here. And the rest of this stuff is just snap to grid. It's basically the stuff that is from the Kenny assets and you can move them. So in the top layer, bottom layer, you can do all kinds of things. So basically just kind of like any like PowerPoint type of situation, like storyline if you used storyline before. And then the event sheet is what makes everything come to life. So once we have like all of these assets on here, the event sheet is what makes them interactive. So we have behaviors that we apply to these and different things. I won't go into that right now. And it also has variables, just like if you used Storyline before, you can use variables in here. There's global variables, and then there's ones that are also local. And back to the layout here, the way that the things are set up in here is all my objects and things that I'm interacting with are my sprites. So if you right click, you can insert a new object and you'll get like a ton of different objects here. So you can do progress meters, you can do text box, you can do sprites, which are all of these objects on the stage that are being interacted with. You can do a tiled background, you can do a sprite font, which is really cool. And then you've got all kinds of other things like inputs, which is mouse, keyboard, gamepad. So you can even make games that you can play with a gaming system controller. And you can also do video, media, which is like webcams and mics. There's just like so many different things that you can do here with Construct 2, and there's a lot of other add-ons that you can download to put in here as well. So one of them that isn't showing up in here that I put was input, and I'll show you guys where that's at. So because I added the input in here, I'm doing an on touch. So basically if someone is on their mobile device, tablet, phone, on a touch, when they touch these little guys, these buttons that I created, it's going to trigger action. So it's going to add 1 as a number to my factory number variable. So it's basically saying I just bought a factory, and then it's telling it to change my number of overall money based on me getting that factory every 2 seconds. So I just wanted to give you guys a brief overview of Construct and what I've been working on, and I'll be sure to share my progress. You can also do stuff like this in Storyline. I just wanted to get back into Construct 2 for a little bit, and you can even do drag and drops. So you can create your own even more like tycoon-like game where you're dragging little objects on and building a village or building a city. So I mean, you can basically do anything. It's whatever you want to make it. So definitely reach out to me if you have any questions, and I hope this was helpful.